Gee.
Fishermen always catch strange-looking fish, but what happens when they angle something so bizarre that they can't believe their eyes? From great white sharks attacking fishermen to sea lions climbing into boats, here are 30 times fishermen caught something they were never meant to see. Sometimes fishermen stumble upon something so bizarre and alien that it surprises everyone. And that's exactly what happened to this guy in 2023. It may look like a Lovecraftian horror that shouldn't exist on this planet, but it's as real as it gets. This is the basket star, and not only can it move every individual limb, but it's also faster than its other starfish siblings. Like other weird sea creatures, the basket star prefers deeper waters and can be found thousands of feet deep. Moreover, it unfurls its arms, each lined with hooks, to catch food, and can live up to 35 years. In 2022, a woman kayaking and fishing through a river caught something she wouldn't have anticipated in her wildest dreams. Her catch was so big that for a second, it felt like she'd caught a dinosaur.
What you got? Like a 100-pound turtle. You need my net?
It wasn't a dinosaur, though. It was a 100-pound turtle. And not just any turtle. It was an alligator snapping turtle, the largest freshwater turtle species. But that's not what makes these big guys special.
Oh my God, what a turtle. Let me get over there.
The woman had no idea what she was dealing with. There's a reason why these creatures are called alligator snapping turtles, because with a bite force of 1,000 pounds, their powerful jaws can snap through bone.
Have to cut it.
Speaking of massive turtles, here's yet another instance of a 120-pound alligator snapping turtle found in the wild. Except that this time, the person knew what he was doing because he was there to rescue it.
Okay, watch your feet.
You're just bringing them straight to shore.
Caught by famous aquascaper Greg Wittstock, the turtle was in dire condition, living amongst a sea of mud. So it had to be rescued, but of course that didn't make the danger of handling it any less significant.
That's a giant.
Let's check them out.
Yeah. Let me get out of the boat.
Yep, go ahead.
It's worth noting that while these massive snapping turtles have incredible bite force, they don't tend to attack humans. So as long as you're careful, which these folks certainly were, you're good. In 2021, a fisherman traveled to a South American lagoon to catch exotic fish. And as the hours went by, he thought he was gonna leave empty-handed until he angled something he'd never seen before.
Whoa, dude, that is the strangest fish.
It was a suckermouth catfish, which isn't even that rare. However, the surprising thing about this particular catch was that it looked different from most other fish species. So much so that the fisherman couldn't even identify it for a while.
Oh, that is the nastiest creature.
Is that? I mean, that thing looks like it's from outer space.
Unlike most other fish, the suckermouth catfish can breathe air, frequently surfacing to inhale oxygen through its gills if there isn't enough in the water. So in a way, these folks weren't entirely wrong to think they just caught an alien.
That thing is wild.
That is one gnarly fish.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. Outer space.
While fishing strange creatures out of the ocean is exciting, there's something even more satisfying when you catch something you know is extremely rare and valuable, which is exactly what happened to these folks on their fishing trip.
I'm gonna
friend.
There's no movie magic here. These guys caught a real blue lobster. What made this catch even more special was that if you catch 2 million lobsters, chances are only one will be blue like this.
These blue lobsters, but there's no way. They have got to be way more rare. This is the same general area where I got the blue lobster last year. My father just caught this.
Of course, blue lobsters themselves aren't rare as they're bred in aquariums as showpieces. However, finding one naturally occurring in an ocean is like finding a needle in a haystack. These are truly real-life shiny Pokemon.
That is a very, very pretty blue. It's a female with a big V-notch in her tail, so that means it's got to be released. You've got blue.
We've seen people fishing some amazing creatures out of the ocean, but what if someone told you that animals are perhaps even more efficient at that job? Because this, right here, is the perfect example of nature at its finest. It may look like a bird fishing for some food, but there's more to it than meets the eye because just under the water, 2 seals are working overtime to feed themselves and bring fish for the bird. It shows that even when animals cannot communicate, they can still somehow find a way to work together toward a common goal and maintain balance. It's the circle of life. Seals are often dubbed as dogs of the ocean because not only are they friendly, but they're also very social. And this is the perfect example of that, because never in a million years did these folks think a hungry seal would invade their boat.
He's gonna get in the boat, look at him. Oh my God, he's getting in the boat! Is he supposed to do that?
The seal didn't care if it was invited. It knew these folks had some fish in their boat, so it had to appear. And luckily, it hit the jackpot as these people were delighted to see their guests.
Oh my God, did they forget you? I'm gonna get in the tank myself. Oh my Lord. Oh, yay!
In 2023, a group of anglers was kayak fishing in Saugus, Massachusetts, when they stumbled upon one of the biggest catches of their lives because they hadn't just caught a fish. They'd caught a massive snapping turtle.
Bro, how do
I can grab him by the tail if I can get there. Oh, it's a good one.
Dude, he's fucking huge.
What do I do?
Snapping turtles already look like dinosaurs with their pointed scales. But what made this particular turtle special was its size, as it had probably been living in the area for dozens of years. Even more importantly though, it wasn't aggressive.
How heavy is he? He's a big fucking boy.
He's a big boy!
He's a big boy.
Dude, he's huge.
That didn't mean they could simply toy around with the turtle, as a single bite was enough to tear through their kayaks. But of course, they weren't there to catch turtles. They were angling fish, so they did the right thing and set it free.
I don't want to get too close like that.
You will rip your hand off, but
How the fuck are you supposed to get out of there, dude?
Sometimes fishermen stumble upon something so rare that they can't believe what they've caught. These guys, for instance, thought they were angling a green mahi-mahi fish. However, things changed when they pulled it out of the water.
There we go. What's up, dude?
Mija.
Look at that.
Don't let him fall off. Turn around.
Mahi-mahi can change colors depending on the situation, and they usually appear green while caught. But in rare instances, when they don't feel threatened, these fish can retain their blue color after being caught.
Hold on, do that. We'll go this way, over here.
Yep,
That's pretty. Wow.
Watch out.
Yes.
Was this catch rare, or did these guys catch the fish off guard? In 2023, a group of fishermen angled in one of the most dangerous and aggressive fish, the wolffish. Except that they couldn't believe their luck as this was the biggest wolffish they'd ever caught.
And it is an absolute giant. If you've seen him before in my videos, they can bite like crazy. That thing's huge, dude. Kind of scared to grab hold.
Dude, I'm scared it was gonna...
Catching these bad boys is not child's play, and there's a reason why they're called wolffish. They have strong teeth and powerful jaws, so much so that they can even bite through hard-shelled creatures in the ocean.
A few last year, but I've never seen one this big. They get huge. They get like 6 feet long. I don't even know how this one fit in a trap.
But of course, seeing is believing, and these guys were curious to find out if the wolffish was as ferocious as they'd expected. So, they thought it'd be a great idea to make it bite into a soda can.
It exploded! Oh my word! Look at this soda can.
In 2021, a man was fishing near the Florida Keys when he felt something big tug on his fishing rod. And it was at that very moment that he knew he'd caught something big and special.
Okay, got a big parrotfish. I mean a monster.
Don't let him bite you. The hook's right
No,
there.
set him in the bottom of the boat.
The parrotfish was bluer than the ocean. However, the color wasn't the only thing that made it special. The parrotfish has a jaw with fused teeth, but more importantly, it has a second set of teeth in its throat to crush hard rock.
His mouth. There you go. Look at that mouth.
Moreover, these fascinating creatures spend up to 80% of their lives looking for food and can grow as much as 2.5 feet long.
Look at that mouth. The parrotfish are biting today. Okay, he's going back. See you later.
Witness a terrifying yet breathtaking incident as people in a fishing boat open up one of the doors at the back of the vessel to grab lines in the water and reel in the fish they've caught, except that things don't exactly go according to plan. As water rushes into the boat, almost sweeping them off their feet, things get slightly out of hand. However, while they think they've weathered the storm, the ocean still has other tricks in store for them. Even though this looks dangerous, these people are perfectly safe because these boats are designed to let the ocean spill in and drain it out from the bottom. So don't worry, they're not going down. In 2022, a man was fishing off the coast of Texas when he caught a needlefish. But while he knew how dangerous these creatures could be, he was in for a big surprise when he encountered one.
Yep. Needlefish number 2. Whoa! Calm down, big guy. Calm down, big guy.
The needlefish was relentless, trying to break free from his line. However, the man wasn't just gonna let it go that easily and wanted to take a closer look, which, as it turned out, was a big mistake.
It's sketchy because you see that point, it's sharp and he also has teeth, so let's see what the best way of doing. Ow! That was not the best way.
While the bite was already bad, he was lucky the fish didn't fling itself out of the water at him, which, believe it or not, is not that rare. And since these fish are incredibly quick, these attacks can be lethal.
Ow! Oh! Oh, look what he did. Okay, folks.
A sculpin may not look unique or impressive, but it's a fascinating fish regardless because it doesn't have any scales. Instead, it has naked skin, usually covered with small spines, so this catch is special.
Okay. Excuse me, number 9?
This one might make it my measurement.
Alright, cool.
That's not all though, because the sculpin is a bottom-dwelling creature that rests on the sea floor and isn't usually active during the daytime. So catching multiple of these on a fishing trip is not as common as you'd think. The following footage comes from Thailand, and there's something very weird about it because, while it initially looks like these fishermen are walking on a stone floor in their boat, it's something else entirely. Their boat is filled with jellyfish, which is already insane enough. But to make matters even crazier, they're walking around on it barefooted like it's no big deal. While they seem fine, this is not normal behavior because jellyfish don't like touching. These creatures can sting their prey with tentacles, releasing a venom that paralyzes their targets. So these folks are on thin ice. Fishermen stumbling upon weird sea creatures is one thing, but what this guy encountered while speeding through a river in Brazil is on a whole other level because he didn't see fish. He saw jaguars. Not every day you see a couple of jaguars swimming across the river right next to you. So this fisherman was lucky to see them up close. And just to make sure he wasn't hallucinating, he savored the moment. That said, while it was a once-in-a-lifetime sight, and the fishermen were lucky to witness the jaguars up close, following them with the boat was probably not a great idea. After all, these animals love their privacy.
Exceptionnel. Ah, c'est là le moment où il va falloir faire des belles photos.
In March 2019, a fisherman caught a rockfish off the coast of British Columbia, Canada. Except that he wasn't doing it for himself. Instead, he had something very special planned for the fish.
Hey, here, we'll throw it on this side so we get better view. Come and get it, buddy!
Rockfish are tasty and have extremely long lives, so much so that some can live up to 150 years. This particular fish, however, wasn't gonna end up at a restaurant. It was lunch for another creature. Turns out a bald eagle had been on the prowl for a while and had its eyes on the rockfish. So rather than trying to fight nature, the fisherman decided to let the bird feast. The following footage comes from Brazil, where fishermen found another group asleep on their boat. Rather than letting them rest, however, they decided to play a very dangerous prank on their friends. The people sleeping in the boat had no idea what was coming their way. They were up for a rude awakening because an unwelcome guest had just joined them in the boat, and it wasn't human. Waking up to a crocodile crawling right next to you has to be a terrifying experience. Yet the fisherman kept his composure and didn't jump. That didn't mean he wasn't in danger, though. In September 2024, fishermen in India snagged one of the biggest catches of their lives, a manta ray that was so massive that it needed 2 people to move. But that wasn't the only thing that made it special. Catching a manta ray is no small feat because these are some of the most intelligent creatures in the ocean. They have one of the largest brain-to-body mass ratios of any fish. So catching one is not child's play. That said, while the catch was impressive, it wasn't great for the environment because manta ray populations worldwide suffer from overfishing. Many people think that catching intelligent creatures like these should not be allowed. The following footage comes from a French island in the Caribbean, where tourists were on a boat trip near the coast when they noticed movement under their boat. It was only when they looked down, however, that they realized they were living the dream. Friendly creatures always approach tourists in the wild, but there's something extra special about a dolphin swimming with you, almost like a pet. And from the looks, the dolphin also seems to be enjoying it. Much like manta rays, dolphins are also incredibly intelligent, so much so that they can even learn different skills and display emotion. So a dolphin must like you if it decides to join you for a ride. We've seen a fish bite into a soda can, but what happens when you put a giant squid in the same situation? These folks had that exact question and decided to test it themselves.
We have a giant squid. We're gonna try and see right now, will a squid bite through a Coke can or Pepsi can or whatever? Here we go, ready? Watch.
Of course, a Humboldt squid doesn't exactly have a mouth like a fish, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have a sucker. The squid's opening has teeth and a sharp beak to tear through flesh.
Mad. He's getting mad. Oh, he's getting mad. Watch out, watch out. Okay. Oh my gosh. Marwan, here we go, ready? Put it in there. Oh my gosh!
The squid doesn't take a second before biting into the can, and it's so strong that it cuts a whole chunk out of the can. So sticking your finger in there is probably not a good idea.
One more time, one more time. He's mean.
3 times.
Let's put him back in there. Oh, he's hungry.
Most fishermen use worms or other small creatures as bait, which makes sense because many fish are carnivorous. However, is it possible for someone to catch one by using lettuce as bait?
A hook, here we go, that's the bait. We're gonna chum the fish with the rod tip, watch this. Put this rod in the water like this. There they are, okay?
Most people think fishing is a slow exercise, sitting for hours with a rod in your hand, waiting for a fish to catch onto your bait. But these folks are about to show how good they are by using only lettuce.
3, 2, boom. He ate it. Here we go. Oh, he spit it up. You saw it everywhere. Oh my gosh.
It turns out there are vegetarian fish that love lettuce. We've all seen piranhas completely obliterating someone's body in a movie, but things are a little different in real life because while these fish are dangerous, they also taste great, and people catch them for a living.
Bata teu dedo muito. Esse carinha boa.
Dangling a bit of meat off the edge and hoping for the best is not the best way to catch a piranha. Yet these folks are doing it anyway, even if they run the danger of one biting their hand. However, while most think of piranhas as man-eating monsters, you'd be surprised to discover that most are herbivores. And even when they're not, they're only attracted by blood and open flesh. If you thought catching piranhas by hand and putting them in a bucket was reckless, prepare yourselves for something even crazier as this guy dumps them out in his boat, with little to no protection from these menaces. While you may question his methods and their safety, you can't deny his efficiency, as he's catching dozens of these bad boys by the second. Speaking of dangerous situations, these folks were on a fishing trip in 2021 when they noticed something was off because rather than attracting any fish they wanted to catch, they'd attracted something much bigger.
It's right here.
They could see a big silhouette circling their boat, and with them in the middle of nowhere, there was no running away from it. But what exactly was this big creature, and what did it want from them?
Oh my god. Whoa, there it is! Oh my god!
Not every day you see a massive shark swim up to your boat, so they were understandably having the time of their lives. However, the shark wasn't as friendly as they'd thought. In 2021, a group of fishermen were returning from their journey when birds hounded them. So being the good folks they were, they decided to share some of their haul and let the birds feast. What they didn't realize, though, was that birds weren't the only creatures trying to score some fish, and something else was lurking right underneath their boat, waiting for the perfect chance to pounce. It was a sea lion, which, if you didn't know, is very different from a seal. Sea lions can be extremely dangerous, so these folks needed to be careful and not get too friendly with the beast. Speaking of unexpected encounters, these fishermen were going about their day when they noticed something big approaching their boat. But lucky for them, it wasn't a deadly shark. It was a whale shark.
Dapat ka tidak off kasi dia tanggal.
It didn't just approach their boat for no reason, though. The poor creature was stuck in a rope and couldn't figure out how to break free. So it asked the fishermen for help. How incredible is that?
Rescue. Can you?
The fishermen spent a couple of minutes trying to find a way to cut the rope, and they eventually did. But they didn't expect the whale shark's reaction after being freed.
Bye-bye. 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 Wow, happy there. Wow, happy there.
In 2024, a man was kayak fishing in headwaters about 4 feet deep when he had the most terrifying experience of his life because he had no idea predators were lurking in the shallow water. It's not every day an alligator jumps out of the water and tries to bite down on your kayak. Kudos to the man because he did not panic. He got his paddle out of the way and completely avoided the beast.
Whoa.
In 2021, some folks were fishing in the Gulf of Mexico when they noticed a massive silhouette approaching them. But much to their horror, it wasn't a friendly creature. It was a great white shark. Most people would recoil with horror in this situation, but these folks? They thought dropping some fish for the shark and getting it closer to their boat would be a good idea.
No wonder he's not drinking today. No way. Put it in my belly. Put it in my...
At this point, the shark was virtually touching their boat, and it didn't look satiated by that tiny fish either. This was the moment of truth. Was the shark gonna attack them and bite into their boat?
You want to pet him, there's your chance.
Speaking of close encounters, this fisherman was on his usual day shift, catching dozens of fish with his net, when he accidentally caught something much bigger than he'd anticipated. A great white shark.
Pretty close to shore, ain't he? Yeah. Fucking windjammers right there. Yeah. He's still alive.
The shark was still alive but wasn't moving around, making the fisherman think he could still salvage the situation and throw it back into the water. But the shark not moving didn't make things any less dangerous.
Plenty of life in him. Holy shit.
The shark started flopping around if things weren't bad enough already. So now the question was, how does a fisherman carry a shark over 1,000 kilograms or 2,000 pounds and return it to the water?